No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why
until the dawn. I can't quit. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each movie he makes. Cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
But as Allah says in the Quran, man is created impatient.
That's right.
In Surah 76, he says, man surely is created in haste, impatient. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Right.
So, you know, I'm like that. You know, when I see what's going on the planet, especially over there in our world, I'm questioning, well, when you gonna take this devil out? You know, I don't want to see this. And they show you the babies. They just murdering the babies. They lied and said, now listen to this, we Muslims. They lied on the Muslims. They said we went into the kibbutz over there and we raped women and we killed children. Not them Muslims over there. They follow what Prophet Muhammad told them. Peace be upon it. Don't kill women, don't kill children, and old people. Is that right?
That's right.
They did not go in there killing the babies, but they needed an excuse to kill the Palestinian babies. Because as they oppressed the people, the Palestinians are still giving birth to children.
Come on.
And these children are growing up with hatred in their heart. So they can't stop Hamas, what they call Hamas. Hamas is all the Palestinian people.
Right.
Oh man. So our impatience with Allah on taking out a world and bringing in a new world is, you know, tremendous. Because, you know, I have to bear witness. I felt it. But I only felt it because we're looking at a murderer.
Right.
And we're looking at what Jesus said, he's a liar and a murderer from the beginning. Is that right?
That's right.
Lies and murder and deceit is their way. You can't, I gotta say to this, you know, and I worked around white people. You cannot believe what comes out of their mouth even when they're talking about their own families. Because they lie first. Then they tell the truth. But they lie. If one white person is talking about their family, then another white person starts embellishing on their family. And they all start lying to each other. And you sitting there, and you shouldn't chime in, you should just listen. And if you listen close enough, you'll hear the lies. Because they're a bunch of liars. This ain't about white folks. This is about God bringing in a new world. But the new world coming in, we have to change. We can't go into the new world with the same mindset. Remember, Jesus said, let this mind be in you. Yes, sir. Which is also in Christ Jesus. It's a new mind. And you have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So all the old stuff, like right now they singing a song, Old Anxiety. Well, you know, if you don't want to let go of all that stuff, you can't, when you get into the new year, you bring all that baggage with you.
Come on.
You got to let it go.
That's right.
Just let the baggage go and then come into a new year with a new mind. The new mind is obey God.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Obey God.
That's right.
If you don't want to obey God, then you don't want to live on the planet, because He is bringing people in He's bringing in a world where he has to be obeyed. Remember, the scripture says every knee will bow and every tongue will confess.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So if you on the planet, your knees are going to bow. Not my knees. Yes, your knees. All of our knees are going to bow.
That's right.
We can't make it in the new world.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So praise be to Allah. So before I bring up, brother, this Final Call newspaper is what you should have.
Yes, sir.
It's a summation of the past year and the most important events that happened. So if you want news, get the Final Call newspaper.
Right.
If you want the truth, don't believe what you see on television. CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, all that's fake. You know, I just using that word. It could be our next president is going to be Donald Trump. He attacked the news as fake news.
Go ahead.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
He attacked the FBI,
That's what he did.
the IRS, the CIA.
Go ahead.
Is that right? The
Yes, sir.
judicial system.
Yes, sir.
He attacked the foundation of America. All our people are like, oh no, I don't want Trump. You should want Trump.
Come on.
Trump is tearing up the foundation of America.
Go ahead.
You know, he attacked the judicial system. We should love a man like that.
Come on.
Because he not only attacked him, then he went into prison and started letting black folks go. White folks was upset. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Right now, there's a concerted conspiracy against Donald Trump, and you can clearly see it.
Facts.
A concerted conspiracy. You say, well, I'm a Democrat. Don't go for that. Democrat, Republican, they're all the same.
That's right.
The worst president now is Joe Biden. He's the worst president in the United States that has ever been. Joe Biden, look at his record.
Come on.
You know, so with that being said, let me stop right there and let me talk about my Brother Herman.
Yes, sir.
You know, I've been watching Brother Herman since he's been up on the post, and brother got it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he does.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
He
sir.
got it.
Yes.
Praise be to Allah. His lectures are something that should be studied,
Yes, sir.
because he says things in the lecture that should make you say, You know, I'm still working on the fact that he talked about election when he talked about God coming. That God, when he revealed us, now I know and I believe that Allah is in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. But the way brother put it down was Allah came and gave us his personal identity.
That's right.
He's known throughout the world as Allah, the one God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But his personal identity is Master Farrakhan Muhammad.
Pronoun.
He gave that to us
Yes, sir.
because he chose us as his people. So when brother put that down like that, it made me think. You see what I'm saying? So he got it. So I want to say to us all, let's continue to hear and support our brother
Yes, sir.
in this mission. It's a hard job.
Yes, sir.
But he said, here I am.
Go ahead.
I'll do it.
Yes, sir.
So praise be to Allah. Let's bring our brother up.
Let us first start by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. As students of religion and citizens of this wonderful planet that we call Earth, we thank Allah for all of his messengers, all of his prophets, all of his great ones, and all of the scriptures that they brought. So we thank Allah for Moses and Aaron, the Abrahamic prophets, and the divine revelation of the Torah or the Old Testament. We thank Allah for Jesus and his disciples and the divine revelation of the Injil, the Gospel, the New Testament. We thank Allah for Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah of 1400 years ago and the divine revelation of the Holy Quran. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of these worthy servants of his. As students of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we can never thank Allah enough for his divine intervention in our affairs, for he came 9,000 miles to seek and to save that which was lost.
That's right.
He came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, to whom praise is due forever. We thank him for, upon his arrival, raising one from amongst us, a Georgia-born black man who only went to the 3rd or the 4th grade school, but has become the most powerful human being to ever walk the planet besides God himself.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ. But if I live to be 1,000, I could never thank Allah enough for the human being that I'm striving to represent to you today. He is a refined, exquisite,
Yes, sir.
magnificent example of what it is to be a human being.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man, he is the leader in the absence of the leader, the teacher in the absence of the teacher, the guide in the absence of the guide. He is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And it is in their names that we greet you in our nation's greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
I'm so happy to see each and every one of your beautiful faces on this, cold Sunday morning in Denver, Colorado, on the cusp of a brand new year, right?
Yes, sir.
So I would say Happy New Year's, however. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that we don't greet each other in that way.
That's right.
Because you know and I know, many of us experienced tremendous loss in 2023. So to say Happy New Year to someone, it might not be so happy.
Yeah.
Because we're carrying the trauma of what we lost in 2023
Yes, sir.
into 2024. And so all we can do is wish our brother and our sister the best in this coming year, right? Now, before we get started, I want to make a disclaimer. Of course, we're not here to make mockery or entertain, but we're here to educate, to enlighten, to inspire, to give you something that you can use. And it is my fervent prayer that Allah use me to give you something that you can actually use and help you in your life. Because we all could use something, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah. For all information, Nation of Islam, go to www.noi.org to get the latest and the greatest, the biggest and the baddest, the blackest and the boldest news you can use. The Final Call newspaper, go to www.finalcalldigital.com. And to get everything local, what we're doing in the city, go to noidenver.org. And for all of those who are listening, because I do post these on YouTube and social media, you can also go to those sites to donate to whatever charity that you want to. You can donate to our local building fund. You can donate to national by going to noi.org. So use those sites. Now, our subject today, timely, is lessons from 2023 and guidance for 2024. Lessons from 2023 and guidance for 2024. And Brother Gerald mentioned the Final Call newspaper and it being a summation or a summary of what happened this year. And we want to make sure that each and every one of us go and get this paper. We got the paper right in the back for you. You want to make sure that you leave with this paper.
That's right.
This is extremely important. A year of war and warning. And today, what I would like to do with Allah's permission is my lecture, what I studied in preparing for today's lecture, all of it came out of the Final Call newspaper. All of it. Because you have to know that the Final Call newspaper isn't just news. The Final Call newspaper is actually the Word of God.
Yes, sir.
And if you were to read every page of this particular Final Call newspaper, and I can say that about every issue of the Final Call newspaper, that if you were to read every word of it, you would be one of the most enlightened human beings on this planet. And your knowledge will be well-based and balanced. Hey, take it or let it alone. I'm telling you the truth. Now, normally, during a New Year's Eve or a New Year's lecture, we're going to talk about resolutions.
Come on.
Right? Because ain't that what we do during the New Year?
Yeah, go ahead.
We make resolutions. Right? A resolution is a firm decision to do or not do something. Re means again, solution means answer. So answer again. So when we make resolutions for the coming new year, what we're really saying is we're going to find the answer to the thing that we didn't do last year.
Go ahead.
And we're going to apply it this year, right? So we're going to get our money right. And we're going to take out some of them LBs, you know what I mean? Y'all know what them LBs are, pounds. You know, we're going to work out a little bit more. We're going to we're going to be a little bit better to our wives, a little bit better to our husbands, a little bit better to our children. We resolve to do these things. We make these resolute decisions, right? But in the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that every day that you wake,
Come on.
every day that you wake, you should resolve to be better than what you were yesterday.
That's right. That's right.
So when it comes towards a new year, we shouldn't even have to make that sort of resolution because self-improvement,
Yes, sir.
right, is a process that should be taking place every single day.
That's right.
Now, our new year, right, because we're talking about lessons from 2023 and guidance for 2024. Our new year in the nation, we don't start our new year on January the 1st, to be quite honest.
Right.
We start our new year on February 26th.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All praises due to Allah. We start our new year on February 26th. We were reminded by student minister Ishmael Muhammad because that is the birth anniversary of our Savior.
That's right.
All civilizations do.
Somebody came for the black man, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Somebody came from his high and hidden place
Praise be to Allah.
to seek that which was lost, to see if the cries
Yes,
were all together what he thought he heard.
Yes, sir.
That is Master Fard Muhammad.
That's
He
right.
came for us 9,000 miles. So we celebrate his birth anniversary on February 26th, but it is the beginning of our particular new year, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the Messiah, I'm going to say that again, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the Messiah,
That's right.
who is the one who is anointed in this hour to do the work that he is doing. Usually on that day, he gives us our guidance
Yes, sir.
for the year.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And this particular year was no different, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what was his subject this year? Y'all remember?
The War of Armageddon has begun.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said on February 26th that the War of Armageddon has begun.
That's right.
Now, we sitting up a lot of us in the audience like, really?
I know it before everyone.
Man, we had no idea.
I know.
But exactly, God knows. And so he lets his servant know. He said the War of Armageddon has absolutely begun. So that was February 26th. Now, Armageddon. What is Armageddon?
Come on.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Armageddon means literally armies gathered together for the doom.
That's right.
Armies gathered together for the doom. It is the war that ends all wars.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
It is the war that you find in the scripture. I want to say in the book of Revelation, the war of Armageddon. That when you saw armies surrounding Jerusalem, is that right?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Know that the end is near, and that's exactly where we're at.
That's
Now,
right.
at that time, the whole Israel Hamas thing hadn't jumped off.
That's right.
Think that over now.
Yes, sir.
Think that over. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said the war of Armageddon has begun, but that part of it had not yet happened.
Yeah.
There was already, Russia was already invading Ukraine.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a whole nother story. But it's all part of that dreaded war. But we have to think in terms of what's spiritually going on.
Yes, sir.
Because we could say that it's a conflict between Russia and the Ukraine. We could say that it's a conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. But really, the war of Armageddon is Allah, God, declaring holy war on his enemy.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. Go ahead.
That's what the war of Armageddon is about.
Yes, sir.
Now, he's moving pieces into certain places to do certain things at certain times, but the
Yeah.
ultimate aim
Yeah.
is he's going to destroy his enemy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Man, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So this war has begun, but ultimately the war of Armageddon is really to determine who gonna live on this planet.
Yeah.
Sir. God's
Yeah. Say that.
God's plan.
Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad forbade us as Muslims to have weapons. Is that right?
That's
He
right.
said don't carry so much as a penknife. And some of us are, we don't know if that's the right thing, because we see that the world is going crazy, man.
That's right.
The world is going crazy, but God, in his wisdom, in my humble opinion, is putting us in a place to where he wants us tucked away.
Yeah, that's right. Go
He
ahead.
wants us tucked away, and then he wants to move other pieces in these positions to where they're fighting and killing one another.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Get rid of each other.
Man. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So here we are in this war, but at the end of it, the one that God wants to rule the planet is going to be the new ruler.
Yeah.
That's going to be the black man.
Yes, sir.
The scripture talks about the first becoming the last.
Come on.
And the last becoming the first. It talks about how God is going to turn things upside down and inside out, and there's going to be a new ruler who really is the original ruler.
That's right.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
right.
The builders reject.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So 2023 being the beginning of the war of Armageddon, it starts that entire process, right?
Yes, sir.
But in that, God is moving and moving. Another thing that happened, we're gonna move, is there were multiple attacks. We're talking about lessons from 2023 and guidance in 2024. There were multiple attacks on black people in 2023.
That's right.
On many different fronts.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
One of the attacks, according to the Final Call newspaper, was the concept of critical race theory.
Come on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Demon.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
We don't take our time. Critical race theory, according to the scholars, is a slogan that right-wingers attach to schools teaching about this country's true racial past or rejection of education reforms, such as treatment of black people in this society for nearly 500 years. So, in layman's terms,
Teaching the truth.
Go ahead.
people like DeSantis, he was one of them.
Yes, sir.
They don't want to teach the truth about what has happened to black people in this country to their children in the schools in Florida or Texas or many of these other conservative places because they don't want to hurt white folks' feelings.
Come on.
Nearly 500 years.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah,
sir.
go ahead.
They don't want for us to really learn that they tried to write out the fact that black people were in slavery.
Lord have mercy.
They said we were indentured servants.
Yes, sir.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Professional liar.
Like we volunteered to come over here
Yeah, yeah.
Give me another
and do
name.
some work. like really? Because they don't want to hurt white folks' feelings. They don't want you to learn that America is the #1 racist country
Thank you.
in the world.
Come
Yes,
on.
sir.
Come on.
Big facts.
That's right.
Big facts.
Always has been. I was watching CNN this morning before we came here, and they were talking about Hitler and how Hitler came to power in the 30s, and you know what Hitler did. But his #1 inspiration was what they were doing here in America.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on. Teach.
America during the 20s and the 30s had made America just about all white by what they call selective immigration. You know how they arguing now, they want to put the wall up, right? They want to keep all them brown and black people from coming up from Venezuela and Mexico and wherever they got, Haiti, forget about that.
That's not good.
They want Europeans coming up in here.
Yeah, that's
Yes, sir.
right.
Facts.
But they had mastered that concept of racial immigration. up until President John F. Kennedy and Lyndon Baines Johnson got into office and the civil rights legislation was passed. Then you started seeing, after 1965, you started seeing more and more black and brown people coming into America, now to the point where by 2045, America will be a majority black and brown country.
That's right.
Right?
Yes,
sir.
But what happened to John F. Kennedy? They killed him.
From the murder.
Lyndon Baines Johnson became really a recluse. Think about it now. Because they changed America and what America was. But critical race theory is one of the things that these new conservatives, they've come up with as a slogan for teaching true black history, right? That's an attack. There were multiple attacks on black people, including mass shootings.
Yeah.
Now on page 36 of the Final Call newspaper, now I told you I'm gonna read everything out of the Final Call newspaper. This whole election.
Yes,
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Violent attacks include mass shootings such as when a 21-year-old white man used his assault-style rifle to kill 3 black people at a Jacksonville, Florida dollar store. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
The U.S. Justice Department is investigating the Jacksonville shooting, which happened August 26, as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism. U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland said in a statement. The gunman Ryan Christopher Palmetto shot and killed Anult Joseph Laguerre, Gerald Galian, and Angela Michelle Carr before killing himself. Also, 6 white former officers pleaded guilty on August 3rd, this is some of the attacks, to torturing 2 black men in Rankin County, Mississippi. Yeah, y'all remember that one?
Yeah.
So much happens, man. And we got this, we don't have a 24-hour news cycle, we got a 24-second news cycle. Can't keep up. So, in January 7th, the beating death of Tyree Nichols in Memphis, Tennessee, 5 black officers were terminated and charged with 2nd-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, official oppression. 1 white officer was relieved of duty but not terminated, of course. In Florida, Susan Lorenez, a white woman, was charged with 1 count of manslaughter with a firearm and 1 count of assault in the shooting death of a 35-year-old black mother, Najiki Owens, on June 2nd. Ms. Owens had walked with her son to 58-year-old Ms. Lorenez's front door to confront her after she allegedly took an iPad from one of Mrs. Owens' children and threw roller skates at them. So the white woman killed the sister right on the board.
Yeah, that's right.
But there were other things. There was another attack. Y'all remember the name Damian Pickett?
Come on.
Yeah.
Damian Pickett, a riverboat co-captain in Alabama, was attacked by a group of white people who refused to move from a designated docking area. Mr. Pickett was attacked by several members of the private boat. Then, several black passengers of the Harriet II, another riverboat, came to Mr. Pickett's defense, resulting in what was been termed a brawl, riot, melee, and by some intellectuals, a cathartic release for black folk. All praises equal out. Y'all remember that? The little brother swam across the river. He called him Aquaman. That warmed my heart, man. That warmed my heart to see the black men come together, right? But that was even part of, that's divine providence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
White people just acting up, getting tough. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, the minister reminded us that one of the things that must be done in this time is that we must be separated from our former slave masters and their children. Because time will prove that they will become more and more disagreeable to live with in peace.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Now y'all just think about that, man, and everything that happened in 2023. You walk up to a white woman's porch, she just shooting the sister.
Look at that.
Right? The brother tell him he just doing his job. He minding his business on that dock. Man, y'all gotta move that boat. Nah, we ain't moving nothing. Drunk white people.
Swinging at him.
Here they come. You know, coveralls and overalls.
Yeah.
Tobacco chewing, you know what I'm saying? Now they want to jump on the brother because in Mississippi, man, black folks ain't supposed to check white people.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
That's
think
right.
about it.
That's right. That's real.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
But here they come, right? So they become completely disagreeable to live with in peace. Everybody on edge. Everybody, is that right?
Yes, sir.
We also lost some great people in 2023. We lost Tina Turner. I had to be reminded of that. We lost Harry Belafonte.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We lost Clarence Avant. We lost some great people. We lost in the Nation of Islam. Brother Gerald kind of touched on it. We lost student minister Jabril Muhammad. Right. All praise be to Allah. We lost Brother Joshua Farrakhan. And we lost my favorite brother in the world, Sahel Muhammad. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We lost some great ones, man.
It's that smile alone.
We lost some great ones.
Yes, sir.
But like the Quran says, we're reminded and we're comforted that think not of those who die or were slain in the way of Allah as dead name. They are alive,
But you
perceive not.
That's right.
Those brothers in the work that they did for our nation, they live in us. And Allah also says that He wastes not the work of any worker,
That's right.
male or female.
Hey.
So what we have to do is we got to take on their work, man. These are some workers.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Some workers.
That's right.
Some workers, and we should be inspired by the example that they left and continue in that particular work.
Yes, sir.
Every bit of it. Praise be to Allah. Another thing, 2023. We running through it. Final call this very powerful demonstration. And I'm just touching on some of the things. Controversial. Controversial. All praise be to Allah. In 2023,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
in 2023, another significant happening was not only there were so many sightings of the mother plane and its baby planes that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about, but the government admitted,
Finally.
they admitted to seeing these crafts.
Yeah.
They admitted to not knowing where they came from. They admitted that the technology that these crafts have is far superior to anything that this world has ever seen. And so they, of course, want to say these are aliens. They don't know what they are. They call them UFOs or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. But we know who they are.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Come on.
Yes, sir.
We know what they are.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
Because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told us who and what they are.
Yes, sir.
He told us that these are not piloted by aliens, these are piloted by black men and women. Brown men and women.
Come on.
Red men and women.
Yes,
Yellow
sir.
men and women.
Yes,
They're
sir.
piloted by the original family. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
This is significant. This is a lesson, man, that we should all learn, because don't nobody else know where these crafts come from. We know when the craft was constructed.
Come on, G.
We know who constructed it,
That's
who
right.
commissioned it.
Go ahead, brother.
We know the divine purpose of it. And the 1500 bomber planes. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad tells us that this was the mother of all wheels, a master of mechanics.
Yeah, that's right.
A master of mechanical engineering, something that was far superior than anything that this world has ever seen. But that it was commissioned to be built by our Savior, Master Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Man, are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
That this was constructed for the divine destruction of America.
That's right.
And that if Allah will, man, she could destroy America in 12 hours flat.
That's right.
Baby.
The whole of America.
What a baby.
The whole
That's
of
right.
America.
That's right.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
And it was constructed, right, because look at this war of Armageddon. America boasts that it has enough nuclear and, atomic weapons to destroy the world 30 times over.
Yeah.
Now here we are, we walk around here with no weapons. And we are the #1 opposers of this enemy.
Yeah.
We don't have no weapons.
No weapons.
But we do have a
That's
weapon.
right.
That's right.
Go
Come
ahead.
on.
That's left weapon.
Go ahead.
We got the biggest weapon of them all.
That's right.
We got God himself.
Pig.
And the power that he has constructed. Man, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So they admitted the existence of these whales. And we're going to see them more and more and more. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of course, told us during Savior's Day that we would see these over the major cities. And we've seen them over the major cities. Time and time and time again. And I'm not just talking about we seen them, I'm talking about we seen them.
Yeah.
I'm talking from personal experience.
Sure. Keep hanging out with us, you're going to keep seeing it.
Praise be to Allah. Now, this next piece that I want to talk about, what happened in 2023, is wonderful, and it just speaks to the heart of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the heart of those who follow him, because this is a beautiful human being. Now, he gave this lecture. The War of Armageddon has begun in February. And at that time, he's a tender 89 years old.
Yeah.
By May 11th, his birthday, his birth anniversary, he turns 90. And for his 90th birthday, this beautiful black man gives away 2,000 meals to the homeless and needy in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
For his birthday.
Yeah.
For his birthday. Then on October 16th, which is the anniversary of the Holy Day of Atonement, the Million Man March, everyone in the nation, mosques and study groups, go out, and it's a day of service. And we're feeding the homeless, right?
Yes, sir.
We're selling the paper or giving the paper away. We're doing whatever we can. And the sisters have continued. They were just down at the, what's that place called, Sister?
Charity House.
Charity House, this past, right before Christmas. And we did the same thing around Thanksgiving time. But it's been a tremendous year of service. So this is just some of the believers from Denver doing their thing in the way of service. That was when we was down in Cleo Parker's feeding the homeless. Give the believers a hand. All praise to God. All praise to God. Beautiful believers, man. We had a beautiful time. And I think that day we fed close to 200 people. And I just thank the sisters of the mighty MGT for preparing. I mean, because they don't be preparing no just a little piece of chicken and a piece of bread. They get down. You know what I mean? Like, so we're walking around Civic Center in downtown and hitting all them homeless encampments. And it's so sad. It's so sad. And it really should anger us when you go down and you see the conditions of our people living in these homeless encampments. And many of you have more and more immigrants who are coming in, but many of those people downtown are black people.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Been here. Yeah. But they can't afford to live here.
Yeah, that's right.
But we can send billions of dollars to the Ukraine. Teach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or billions to Israel. But we can't feed the people downtown. We can't feed the people around the corner, man. These people are ridiculous, and they're spending that money in our name. That's our money. That's our tax dollars. Man, we gotta get away from these devils. But thank Allah for these beautiful sisters and brothers who did this work. All praise to Allah. Let's get the believers another. Just in general, this is all over the nation of Islam. All over the nation of Islam. This is a nation that's working and working diligently, man. And the beautiful thing about the brothers and the sisters, the soldiers in the nation of Islam, is that America boasts that it's the strongest military in the world, right? And we could argue that in terms of what they have in terms of weaponry. And they send their soldiers and they post them up all over the world.
Yeah.
But this nation of Islam, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, also has some powerful soldiers.
That's right.
But when we come, it's not because somebody's giving us a paycheck to go do what it is that we do.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because they don't.
No.
If the minister was to come here tomorrow, there will be soldiers from all over the country who fall in right now, right here in Denver.
These are facts.
See, this is these are soldiers who soldier for love. Y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir.
There's no more powerful force than love.
That's right.
Man, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So we should be honored, man, to be members of this body. Because we do what we do and we don't have to. We can be laying down somewhere watching the games. There's some games on today. They be watching the Broncos lose again. But no, it's just a beautiful thing, man, to be a member of the FOI or the MGT. A beautiful thing to say that I follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I don't have no shame in saying it.
No, sir.
I know some of us, we so proud. I can't follow no man, brother. I'm my own leader. And you done led yourself into hell. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a fool who says he can't follow nobody.
That's right.
I'm going to say it again. That's a fool who says he can't follow nobody.
That's right.
Especially if it's right guidance. Because we all follow somebody.
That's right.
This is true.
We just don't want to admit it, right? When we're babies, we're followers of our mother. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
As we grow up, you know what I'm saying, we fall into certain cliques and gangs and, you know, groups, and we follow whoever it is that's the leader in that group. But to say that you don't follow nobody, He was just a fool. Because none of us were born in a vacuum. None of us have knowledge when we're brought here.
Facts.
We all dumb as hell. We a blank page. Is that right?
That's right.
We need somebody to put some wisdom on our head. We need somebody wise to follow.
Yes, sir.
But so that's the key. Following somebody who's a wise man or woman. Is that right?
Proven track.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Man, praise be to Allah. So this is the year of service, 2023. Now, as we go into 2024, what's the guidance? On the cusp of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan saying that the war of Armageddon has begun. If we know that a war has begun, then what do we got to do? We got to prepare for it.
That's right. Yep.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. This is true.
So the book of Ephesians teaches us to put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil or Satan.
Yes,
Either
sir.
one, same thing. Satan make devils, but they're the same family, right? We gotta put on the whole armor of God. In the scripture, it talks about, in the Bible, it talks about a breastplate, of righteousness. You got a sword in there. You got all sorts of
Sword of the Spirit.
right, a sword of the Spirit. You got all sorts of weapons to fight with. A helmet of salvation. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You got all of these things that you can arm yourself with or defend yourself with in this hour. But the most honorable Elijah Muhammad also said another thing, because we're coming in a time now where we're at war. But you can't always be defending yourself when you're at war. Is that right?
That's right.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that no people oppressed can win their freedom on the defensive. They must go on the offensive and take the fight directly to the enemy.
Go ahead.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
We soldiers in the army of Allah, we can't always be on the defensive. We got to go on the offensive.
Come on.
That's right.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam on October 16th, again, the anniversary of the Million Man March and the Holy Day of Atonement, launched a $4.8 billion lawsuit against the ADL and the Simon Wiesenthal Center.
Offense.
Offense.
Yes, sir.
Now, that was in October. How many of y'all have seen that on CNN? You haven't.
No.
You haven't seen it on NBC.
Nope.
You haven't seen it on ABC. You haven't seen it on any of the alphabet networks. They are, they're trying to act like it didn't happen.
Yes, sir. Go
They're
ahead.
trying to act like
Go ahead,
it
brother.
didn't happen. A $4.8 billion lawsuit. Why did he launch this lawsuit on your and my behalf? Because we have been dogged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dogged by the accusation of anti-Semitism.
Come
Yes,
on.
sir.
Y'all seen the commercials?
Yeah.
We have to stop the rise of anti-Semitism.
None of it just ain't far, bro.
They bombard us with this now.
That's right.
Especially when this Israeli-Hamas thing jumped up. Because now that's their shield to make themselves a victim. While they lost 1,500 people, but they done killed over 20,000.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And they still killing.
That's
They
right.
bombing every day. They won't stop.
I'm the babies.
But man, they don't care. They won't stop, but they defend it by making themselves the victim, saying that there's anti-Semitism taking place all over the world. There's a rise. Right? Now we can parse apart what anti-Semitism means, and they're not even Semites.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talk about it.
To be real with it. But they dogged the Nation of Islam since the early 80s, calling the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and those who follow him anti-Semites.
That's right.
Now, how could we be anti-Semites when we are the original Semites?
Come on,
Jeez. Semitism means those speaking any of the Afro-Asiatic languages, Hebrew or Arabic or Amharic. Most of them so-called Jews over in Israel, they speak Yiddish. This is a German language.
That's right. Come on, teach.
But they call us anti-Semites.
Yeah, go ahead.
They call us anti-Semites because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the only one, despite their tremendous CBS, BET, they all owned by so-called Jews.
That's right. Come on.
All of them. That's why they're not putting out the story that there's a lawsuit against them.
Yes, sir.
$4 billion lawsuit.
They have dogged us to the point where it's personal to me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It's personal to me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because they said, look, man, when Brother Gerald, who was the student minister for how many years, Brother Gerald? 10 years?
13.
13 years. All praises due to Allah. Was the student minister. Praise due to Allah. And he took the position. Not only was the ADL and the Denver police spying on what was going on in the mosque under his leadership. We know because we saw the records. We saw the fires.
Yeah, that's right.
But they also put us, this study group that you're in right
This
now,
little study group.
they put us on the SPLC's, Southern Poverty Law Center's, list for hate groups. For hate groups. Now understand, they put us next to skinheads and crazy crackers of the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I'm saying? They put us on along with all of these people, but Brother Gerald, myself, no member of the nation of this study group has ever even been, listen, accused of a hate crime.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir.
Never been accused. So how is it that you can put our whole group on the list as a hate group when you don't have any prosecutions, you don't have any charges, you don't even have any accusations? What type of power must you have in order to do that and it be on there for, I mean, it's been on there for years, for decades.
Go ahead, brother.
And how many people, this is why it's so hurtful and so harmful.
Yes, sir.
And why they have to pay.
Yes, sir.
How many people looked into the Nation of Islam, they Googled the Nation of Islam Denver or Nation of Islam anywhere, they come up, SPLC hate group.
Yeah.
Keeping people from
If you're a person who knows nothing about the Nation of Islam, nothing about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, nothing about Brother Herman or Brother Mordecai or Sister Tracy or Sister Mary, you don't know anything about us, but you look up Google and it says hate group, what are you going to think?
Go ahead.
Keeping people from Allah, man.
Don't nobody want to go near no hate group. Think that over. No one wants to be associated with somebody who's a hater. Why would you? I don't want to be associated with somebody who's a hate group.
Go ahead, go ahead.
You want to be around someone who teaches principles that's going to lift you up. Hate not going to lift you up.
That's right.
No, sir. No,
Come on.
sir.
So how is it? And here's the other thing about they teach hate.
The white man saying that.
They teach hate.
That's just a laughable movie, man.
Just think that up. Mull that over in your mind. They teach hate. How can you teach an emotion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Top teacher, man.
Go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna say that again. How can you teach someone an emotion?
Think about it.
Think about it. Can I teach you love? I can't teach you love. You have to experience love.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Nor can I teach you hate. But if I teach you everything that a certain person has done to you to destroy you,
Actual fact.
you might actually end up hating that person. Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
And because you hate somebody or you love somebody, I can't say that it's bad. If somebody killed your mama, would you think it was wrong to hate them? I would argue that it's right for you to hate that person
Yeah,
who
that's
killed your
right.
mama.
That's right.
What about with somebody who stole your people?
Come on, sir.
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
natural, man.
Use and misuse.
It's natural.
That's right.
Somebody who drowned your father or cut his genitals off and put it in a bag and sold it to his friend.
Go ahead.
That's just a little. Right.
Think that over now. Somebody who owned your people
Perpetually.
for centuries.
Yeah, go ahead.
They made your whole family work for centuries for free.
True.
Day in and day out.
See, one in the
Go ahead.
Can't teach hate.
That's natural.
People, you produce hate by your actions.
Yes, sir.
And if you could do something to that people for that long, and you expect them to love you, you out your damn mind.
Yes, sir.
And if we love them after them doing what they did to us, we had our guy.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So going on the offensive is where we're at. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we have this flyer.
Let's get there.
All praises due to Allah. Since they not gonna,
We gonna make it known.
since they not gonna promote and let the people know that this lawsuit is going on, we gonna let the people know that this lawsuit is going on. So we have this flyer. This front side is, of course, Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, which is you and I. Lawsuit against the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, and the Simon Wiesenthal Center. And then on the back, there's a statement from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And below that, there is a QR code that you use. Smart people with smartphones. I know there's a lot of dumb people with smartphones that don't know what the hell that is. But that's a QR code. You scan that, and it'll take you to the entire case, the exhibits, which is over 90 pages, with the case against the ADL. And how, because they have to be responsible.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
have to be.
That's right.
Put up or shut up.
Look, another thing. Look, that case was launched in 2023. Another case was launched against your former president. Brother Gerald said we should all support. Donald Trump, who facing 91 felonies.
Yeah.
But just like Donald Trump, the ADL and Simon Wiesenthal Center, they gotta answer that.
That's
They're gonna
right.
answer the charge. They can't not show up for court.
That's right.
Yeah.
They got to answer it.
Put up or shut up.
Come on.
But we have to let our people know, so that our people know that we are fighting on their behalf.
Yeah.
Look, they're calling the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, these so-called Jewish people. It was Black Hitler. He done graduated, Brother Mordecai. Now he's the godfather of anti-Semitism.
Yeah, that's what they
It's a
say.
nerve, man.
Yeah, that's what they
The
say.
godfather of anti-Semitism, right? So they're saying that what Kanye say about them, he got it from Farrakhan.
That's right.
What Kyrie was saying about him, he got it from Farrakhan. Anybody who's saying anything about the Jews, the so-called Jews, I'm gonna call them so-called Jews because they're not Jews. So-called Jews or Jewish people, that they got it from Farrakhan. Right? So we have to inform our people, and we're doing it in part by putting out these flyers, and these flyers should be here, brothers, by Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So we should be in the field with these flyers along with the final call. All praise be to Allah. So, praise be to Allah.
You remember reading this?
Let me read the statement. So this is a statement from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. 2,000 years ago in the Roman Empire, the Jews of that day caused the Roman authorities to join with them to bring false charges against Jesus, as he was the last prophet to the Jews. 2,000 years later, some members of the Jewish community, the ADL and others, have met with White House officials and some members of the United States government to formulate a strategy that would enable them to make laws and policies that would allow them to arrest me or others who are falsely accused of being anti-Semite. That was a lot of what I just said. When we saw that the ADL and others have joined with the U.S. government to produce a legal justification for punishment of anyone who is so charged as being a hater of the Jewish people and an anti-Semite, we decided to bring a lawsuit, which we filed on Monday, October 16th, the 28th anniversary of the Million Man March. Now that is so very important, because what they're saying is they dogged us with this label. Remember, since the 80s, man, they're saying that to be anti-Semitic is illegal.
Yeah, that's what they're.
Yeah,
Not
go ahead.
anti-black though.
They could put you in jail.
Yep.
And so if the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, again, is the godfather of anti-Semitism, according to them, who are they targeting?
Us.
Him and the nation of Islam.
Us.
It's an attack on us, brothers and
That's
sisters.
right.
Us.
And he is that Jesus in your scripture that he's referring to 2,000 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's right.
That's right.
Yes, sir, beloved. Man. All praise is due to Allah. So, man, in conclusion, marching orders. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
This is beautiful. And this is, again, from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is why we love this black man. He said, and this is at Savior's Day, especially to us young people. He says, be kind and loving to each other. And the best way to live is with the word all in your head, governing your speech, governing how you talk, how you walk, and how you live. Look, keep that word in your hand. That's the definition of a Muslim. That's the definition, really, of a believer in God and a follower of God. Because it's more important for us at this point to be followers than believers.
Yeah, that's right.
You can believe whatever it is that you want to believe. You can believe that the moon is made out of green cheese. It don't make it true. But if you follow a righteous man, you're going to follow him in righteous conduct.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're going to do it with the way that you walk, with the way that you talk, with the way that you act, with the way that you live your life. Man, it's a beautiful thing. And with that, thank you, family, for being so patient. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for coming, and thank the person who joined you. I'm going to leave you as I greeted you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for watching, you guys. We both love and appreciate you for doing so, but we need for you to take some action and do us 1 or 2 or maybe 3 more favors. And that is, go ahead and smash that like button, share it if you really dig the video, and also subscribe. That way you'll get a bell ding, a notification every time we post something, and it also helps us with regards to the algorithm that your people like to run. So go ahead and do that, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.